Hey guys, it's Al from Al Does It Good here, and at the start of the video I wanted to just let y'all know that this is going to be a bit of a different video. Unfortunately, in recording my gameplay through 4.2 and 4.3, I hit record on my gameplay capture, but it was recording the wrong thing, and I did not notice until I had defeated the final boss and I was getting ready to clock out, and I looked over and saw that I was recording the wrong thing. So it was just a single screen for about 40 minutes, which sucked because it was a really fun episode I did. But I wanted to at least share with y'all the footage of my second run through, which wasn't it was and so this one is gonna mostly just be my general commentary over it, kind of explaining some stuff, giving some post facto tidbits and comments that I wasn't able to probably articulate as well as I should have or wanted to during the video. So now I'm going to hit play and we're going to watch my journey through 4.2 and 4.3, which is only slightly better than my initial attempt. So loading in, we are back at the Adjudicator Archstone, and we go down, and here's Grave Robber Blige. I bet he has some
Hello
stuff
there.
to tell us.
We meet again. You look terrible. Cheer up. Life is an adventure.
And combing through his inventory, he doesn't sell anything new, or at least not that I noticed. He's got all the usual equipment and that leather armor, which is gonna be solid.
There's somebody I ought to warn you about. A fellow who lacks common decency. They call him Patches the Hyena. And he's the one that laid that trap for me. He's the kind of person who'd stab his mother in the back. If you happen to spot him, you'll be doing us all a favor by putting him out of his misery. Have you been to the altar where sorcerers summon shadows? Well, I think someone may be trapped in the lower cavity. I heard them praying for dear life. Pity the poor fool. He probably fell for one of Patch's old tricks. Pity the poor fool.
Yeah, now we get some repeating dialogue. So obviously,
But a bit of
he
indulgence
is talking
goes
about
a-
Patches, Unbreakable, and all that stuff from Dark Souls 1. And here we get a cool little cutscene showing off those summoners he was talking about. And those are the shadows that are getting summoned. Very interesting designs. They look very similar to some of the creatures that were found in the cut archstone, the 6th archstone. And yeah, this is me entering the building, picking up some kunai, which are throwing weapons that I believe inflict bleeding. So they're basically like the kukuri from Dark Souls 3. And here I'm showing you how a fight with these things kind of goes. They have very interesting movements, very slow and pretty damaging if you're unfortunate to get hit by them. And I'm not gonna lie, kind of unimpressive death animation. One thing that I'm not sure if this footage shows is that until you take out the summoner, all of these shadows will respawn. Eventually, not, as soon as you defeat one, another one will respawn. So kind of this interesting mechanic where you have to push through and you have to be careful, but you can't be too careful and you can't, get too reckless, otherwise you are going to die. So it's a nice little pressure that this area applies on you. And here, just a simple trip down, we find the sorcerer, a few hits, and he is down. And thankfully, whenever you defeat him, all of his minions get destroyed. So very similar to like the necromancers in Dark Souls 1, and I feel like there are probably some other summoner types in the future games. But yes, Blige mentioned Patches the Hyena, who would go on to appear in Dark Souls 1, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls 3 in various positions and roles. I especially love his appearance in Dark Souls 3. It's very interesting that he's like one of the recurring characters, him and the Moonlight Greatsword. And now here, for Dark Demon Souls veterans, this guy probably looks pretty familiar to most of y'all. This is the dude that you come and fight when you have pure Black World tendency and as minimum luck as possible. Because this is the guy that you will farm for pure Bladestone. The upgrade system in this game works in shards, occasionally large shards, and then chunks, and then pure stone. So obviously the shards and the large shards function like the Titanite, especially the chunks, and pure stones are like the slabs of this game. And this dude is the only one who will drop pure Bladestone, which is quite annoying because it's an incredibly rare drop, and he's pretty tough, especially in Black World tendency when they have increased health. And another thing that I found out not too long ago is if you actually fight this guy with max luck, so you have your luck stat up to 99, that will actually hurt your chances of finding pure Bladestone, because having maxed out luck also increases your odds of getting shards of Bladestone or chunks. So you're actually hurting your chances of finding pure Bladestone while you are farming this dude with maxed out luck, which is, it's awful and it sucks, but I kind of love it because it's like only Miyazaki or like Kojima would come up with something like that and punish the players for maxing out stats. And here we find the white bow, which I failed to look up the description of, but it's a strength bow. It has high strength. And now we are back in the main hall. I cut some footage because it was just me running around this stuff. You're going to notice a lot of cuts in this because not a lot of interesting stuff happens, unfortunately, since you're not getting like my first reactions to it. And I'll take this time to sort of explain what character I'm running. As you'll notice, I don't have my fluted armor set on. I don't have my assassin's mask on. I don't have my claymore. This is a character that I built from scratch, leveled him up to where Aldo was, and now I'm playing through again.
The demons haven't got
and here
to
we
you,
are.
have they? Well, I'm in luck. You see that pit? It's filled with treasure. But I can't get to it myself. Go on, have a look. It's more riches than I've ever dreamed of. That's it. That pit just there. Go on, get a little closer.
And in true Patch's fashion, he is offering you a great reward that all you have to do is just look over a pit. Just look over a pit, no big deal, NBD.
Have a look at that treasure down in the pit. Then we'll...
And also I want to take a chance. It's really hard for me to commentate this game sometimes because I don't know what the audience doesn't know. So I don't know if they're first-time players who have no idea what I'm doing. But you might have noticed, I know it sucks that I'm explaining this now.
Me, eh? Take your time starving to death. Then I'll sell every last trinket off your corpse.
Oh, Patches, you son of a gun. But one of the things that's kind of obtuse about these games is that just talking to a character does not net you all of the dialogue someone has.
Did you fall for that little devil's trap? Well, I did the same.
And this
fooled me.
This guy does not have any interesting dialogue to say. I'll just go ahead and talk over it.
That we are connected
so yeah, this game does not net you all of the dialogue from a character's encounter at once. You have to constantly press the talk button because most of the time you'll get alternate dialogue, or you'll get more dialogue. And so that's why you will see me and probably a lot of other veteran players who are playing for the first time trying to get recycled dialogue. You want repeating dialogue. because that lets you know you're at the end of the conversation. And now we're fighting a Black Phantom who's apparently holding this other dude hostage. Fun fact about him that I just realized upon this playthrough is he's using one of the katanas known as Hiltless. And Hiltless is a katana that actually does damage to you whenever you land a hit on an opponent or a target or anything. No, I think it's just a target. I don't think it procs when you hit a wall or whatever. So yeah, there's that. Also, I forget to read the Black Moon or the Black Eye Stone. It's basically like a red eye orb, if I'm correct, and it lets you invade a person's. It lets you invade infinitely. So if you're into PvP, it's a pretty good item. But unfortunately, the Demon Souls servers for this 2009 game are done.
You.
So no use in this playthrough.
I'm really sorry. I didn't mean what I said. Well, I mean, a man's got to make a living, right? Here, look. I can make up for it. There aren't many humans like us. We need to stick together. I know. Here, take this as a token of my friendship. You've seen one of these before, surely.
Heh, gash resistance.
Come on, let's be friends. What do you say? No need to drag each other down.
Also, one thing I forgot to mention or show off in the footage later on is Patches will now return to the Nexus, and he will become a pretty decent vendor, all things considered. I think he sells shards of archstone. He sells late or high tier grass. Very useful stuff. So it's this nice little almost final last laugh where he kicks you down a hole and wants you dead, but you can't kill him because he actually drops good stuff. And so it's like, Patchy, why you put me in this position? And here we are fighting more of these black skeletons, or silver skeletons, I'm sorry, they're called. And this area kind of sucks to fight them in, I'm not gonna lie. Due to the altered elevation, what's supposed to happen when a target hits your shield is they're supposed to hit your shields, and if it's a light enough attack, the attack will bounce off. But due to some weird thing with the elevation, their attacks don't bounce off. And so, they're not put into like a stun state where you can get a counter attack. So that makes it a really annoying fight when you're taking on these dudes who don't stop rolling at you. You can't roll in other directions because you're on this very narrow ledge, and you got the storm beast pelting you. It's kind of a nightmare. And here we have some gold skeletons who are quite the badasses. Unfortunately, I procced both of them. You will see in a later encounter, you do not want to fight both of these guys at once because they will destroy you. So there's that. And here I climb up, and here I think I have a good spot. I think I'm doing it. I think I have the advantage. And then I get a little too big for my britches. And I get wrecked. And so now this is just me speeding through the footage to show you kind of the run I had again. Show you a faster way of jumping down. Because you don't have to fight the summoner. He and his shadows won't follow you through here. So yeah. I think out of all of the zones I have played so far, Shrine of Storms overall feels kind of like the most all over the place in a sense, because you start off fighting these skeletons. Okay, that makes sense. And then you fight Vanguard, and you're like, well, that's weird. Why is Vanguard here? And then you fight the Adjudicator, and it's like that's a weird boss fight. Like, you know, it doesn't really seem to fit in with the theme of the zone. Like, obviously the Adjudicator is a part of the environment, but it's just like, it's such a weird design for the Adjudicator to have. Like, you would expect him to be some type of skeleton or something. and then you get to this area, which is more of the same, and then you get to the first boss fight of this area, which I will not spoil just yet, for first-time viewers. And it's like, oh, okay, this is a weird boss fight, but like it's not a bad boss fight. It's just you do not expect it in this zone. And I guess the final boss fight of this, the Archdemon fight, makes sense. But it's just like so different from anything else. I gotta hand to this game for having some off-the-wall boss fights, because all three of the boss fights in this zone have completely different gimmicks. So Adjudicator had where you could either attack the head of the bird, or you could attack the wounds, which would make him crumble, and then you could attack the head. The second boss fight has a completely different gimmick that is wild, and then the third boss fight has an even more different gimmick, which is just like this zone is wild. And yeah, like, yeah, I can't say it enough. I really do love this game, for how just out there it is. You know, I returned to one of my previous comments, in one of the previous videos where I mentioned, you know, how many bosses in Dark Souls 3 could be categorized as large humanoid with giant sword or giant weapon with a glowing effect on that weapon, who attacks you very quickly, and you have to have pinpoint accuracy in your dodges and counter and punish every opportunity you have. And there's quite a bit. And when you think of the same thing in this game, there are some repeated boss fights. Like I'm not saying those are bad. I think the last two boss fights in Boletaria are fairly similar in design, in the way you approach the boss. But you look at all the bosses we have fought so far, with Phalanx and Tower Knight, are two completely different fights. Phalanx is kind of a pushover who will not attack you. It falls onto his hoplites to damage you, which is super interesting. And the hoplites aren't difficult to fight. It's just that there's a bunch of them that makes it really difficult. And then you get to Tower Knight, which is the complete opposite, where his goons are trivial, but he's kind of a toughie if you don't know to go for his ankles and get him on the ground. And then you look at Armor Spider, which is an enemy you have to fight from the front. You cannot circle strafe or backstab or counter or anything like that. You just have to wait for your opportunities. And then you get to Fool's Idol, which is, a simple boss fight in comparison, where you're trying to find the true idol and take them out, while they pelt you with spell bolts and trigger spell traps that stun you for a little bit, and like the area is a little bit narrow and confined, so you can't move around as well. Leechmonger is just like a straight up like gross enemy you fight, nothing too special about it. Adjudicator, where you have to just think of all the boss fights. I know I'm just rambling on about this. And like you can't describe any of those boss fights as the same. It's not like, oh, that tactic you use to beat Adjudicator, yeah, use the same tactic on Tower Knight, which, I mean, I guess you kind of can, but it's a way different fight. And here we are in this area. I didn't showcase them, but you might have noticed that there are some slugs in that goo, and those are the slugs that secrete the sticky white stuff. If you remember the item descriptions, as they are the phosphorescent slugs. And also, what you may have noticed earlier is me clearing out my inventory, or my hotbar, so the square buttons. I do that because again, I don't know what y'all don't know, so like I don't want anything to impede my going to the grass that I need. And here we come up to the second boss fight of the area. And so here we have the old hero. Really amazing intro. I really like that intro where this, you can tell, you know that this is just a spirit. This is not like, this is just a spiritual form of the old hero who has long been dead. And there's the summoner body that dropped down from earlier. And an interesting thing you may have noticed about this boss fight, he hasn't attacked me yet. He's made attacks, but he has not attacked me directly. You may also notice that he has a covering on his face. And that's what I was saying about these boss fights being so different. The old hero is blind, and he cannot see the character. So this entire fight is based off of sound. So I think if you're wearing metallic armor that clanks, he'll be able to hear you better. If you are wearing the Thief's Ring, it'll make it harder for him to see you. That's why he's kind of freaking out a little bit. I don't know if even being in body form makes it easier for him to find you, but it's just such an interesting boss fight. But yeah, super cool. Unfortunately, I will concede that a lot of the boss fights in Demon Souls are not exciting to watch, because this is a very slow-paced game, all things considered, compared to especially like Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, which are just like balls to the wall most of the time. You know, just take the fight with Cleric Beast or Father Gascoigne in Bloodborne, and how fast-paced those fights are, and how on your toes you have to be for them. And then you compare that to this, which is like, you're just walking around and this dude can't do nothing about it, and you're like, all right, you know, just biding my time. And so yeah, not the most exciting boss fight, but still a very memorable one, which is what I have to appreciate. I'm not just gonna be releasing Demon Souls videos. Oh, and by the way, old hero's dead. Good fight. I'm not just gonna be releasing Demon Souls videos or Dark Souls videos. I want to branch out a little bit, and so I'm looking forward to the next series that I have planned. I've recorded a few episodes for it. Alright, so there I returned to the Nexus, but due to some technical difficulties, I I had to quit out the game and reset, so there's that. And now we're here at the Archstone, or Archdemon fight. So this is the Storm King. Not the King of Storms. Not the King of Storms, completely different. Completely different thing. And so yeah, again, I can now, you know, mention them in full. So Adjudicator, Old Hero, and Storm King are three so, like, vastly diverse fights that it's nuts that they're all in the same area. Which is what I like about this game, as I mentioned before. So now I'm dual wielding, or two-handed, trying to get those crystal lizards, but I miss. So you want to run over, pull the sword from the stone, and you got the Storm Ruler. Which I don't read the description of here because whatever. I'll read it in a second though, after the fight. And so if you're familiar with the Storm Ruler in Dark Souls 3, this should look very familiar. This was the prototype. And this is the boss fight. You want to snipe out some of these storm beasts so that way you can, I think, summon the Storm King to come and fight you once you've killed enough, but I don't remember fully. And in all fairness, I did praise this game for their diverse boss fights, but I did not say that all these boss fights were well designed. I wanted to like this boss fight so much, but it is a very primitive boss fight. Like this could have probably done with some R&D or some further play testing. And because I don't know if you can tell or not, with the arc of the Storm Ruler's blast is like a straight line. And if it hits something, then the line stops. And as you can tell, there are a lot of gravestones and rocks everywhere. So a Storm Beast could be right on top of you like that, and you'll hit it. Or, I think this one doesn't go. Oh, that one also goes. Or, as you'll see once the Storm King actually shows up, it'll just completely miss. It just won't hit for some reason. And so that makes this boss fight really kind of annoying. So here, you'll see he's right over us. Boom. I get that, no problem. I go for a second one. Boom, no problem. But I go in for the third one. And the third one also hits. Then I go in for the last one. Oh, I don't go in for the last one. Whoops. Yeah, so there it worked fine. But as you're gonna see eventually, it gets a little tedious when he does his first lap through. And yeah, that's the boss fight. Like, I love the idea of this, you know, having to use a specialized weapon to take him out. But it was not... It could have used more playtesting because there's nothing enjoyable really about standing here. Now granted, this is my second attempt at him, and I've already beaten him before, so I know how to fight him at this point. But that, I feel like knowing how to fight him makes this fight less fun. And look, right there, you see what I'm saying? He's right on top of me, no farther away than he was previously, but because those rocks are right there and blocking it, it means that the hit doesn't go through, which sucks. But yeah, so knowing, and look, why did that one not go? What about that one? What about that one? Why didn't that one go? Like, it's so frustrating. But yeah, but that's what I mean. Knowing this fight actually makes it more boring because now you know where to hide. So if most people didn't know where to hide, they would run around, get hit, obviously take damage, and then there would probably be some type of, pressure or anxiety going on, like, oh man, I need to heal before he makes another attack. But no, if you know the boss fight, just like, oh, hide behind the pillar and wait it out. And that shouldn't be the thing. I feel like a boss fight, I feel like anyone would agree that a boss fight, once you know it, should be more enjoyable. Like, once you get Ornstein and Smo down, it's an exhilarating boss fight, like, even more so, because now it's no longer you getting your butt handed to you by these two powerful knights. It's you knowing these guys down to a T where you are dodging all their attacks and countering and punishing well. And you just don't get that with this boss fight. It's super disappointing. The demon was destroyed. So yeah, that's the fight. Unfortunately, I feel like it should have been a bit more exciting for the Archdemon fight, but what are you gonna do? So you got pure Cloudstone, and you've obtained the soul of an Archdemon. The thick, colorless fog shall oppress you no more. So if y'all remember back at the Tower Knight Archstone, I couldn't progress any further because of something stopping me. Well, now if I wanted to, I could proceed down that area, but I'm not going to because that area gets hard as nuts, I believe. And yeah, here's the description of the Storm Ruler. A legendary sword with a thorny blade, named for one who calms storms. It is said the ancestor of the Shadowmen rended the storms and clouds in the sky with it. Now abandoned, with much of its power lost, it's an average large sword. However, if it is used in the monolith forest where ancestral spirits sleep, you may be able to reawaken its ancient power to rend the sky. If it is used in the monolithic forest, which is a dope phrase. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you made it this far, I know this video was a lot of just me rambling, and I didn't even touch on some of the stuff that I wanted to touch on, so apologies for that. I cut more of this footage down than I thought I would, and left me with less than I thought I would need. So yeah, thank you for watching. I've been Al from Al Does It Good, and this has been me playing some Demon Souls, or this has been me commentating over me playing some Demon Souls. That's pretty meta. Yeah, and hopefully I will be able to avoid problems like these in the future, and they will not happen again, and I will be able to provide good content. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going through the rest of this game. I think we're like at the halfway point of the game, like just below it, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I will see you on the next one. Bye.